respected seniors, and fellow batchmates. I, Ansh Yadav, on the behalf of IEEE Student Branch HBTU Kanpur, extend a warm welcome to all of you for the Expert Talk of the Year 2025. We are honored to have with us the IEEE Student Branch HBTU Kanpur and Faculty Advisor IEEE Power Electronics Society Student Branch Chapter HBTU Kanpur, Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sir. Sir has been a pillar of support and an inspiring mentor, continuously shaping young engineers with his vast knowledge and unwavering dedication to the field of electrical engineering. Before we move forward, let me introduce you to the leadership teams of IEEE HBTU Kanpur, who work tirelessly to ensure the smooth execution of all our events and initiatives. Further introducing you all to the dedicated IEEE officers team. IEEE Chair, Student Branch, Ms. Jasmeet Kaur Ma'am, Vice Chair, Ms. Kanika Pandey Ma'am, Secretary, Mr. Anushesh Pandey Sir, Treasurer, Mr. Pankaj Yadav Sir, Webmaster, Mr. Udit Gupta Sir, and from the Power Electronics Society Student Branch Chapter, we have Chair Mr. Ashutosh Yadav Sir, Vice Chair Mr. Dipendra Singh Sir, Secretary Mr. Kushagra Chaube Sir, Treasurer Ms. Unnati Anand Ma'am, Webmaster Mr. Vismay Katyal Sir, and from the Women in Engineering Student Branch Affinity, we have Chair Ms. Unnati Anand Ma'am, Vice Chair Ms. Anvesha Singh Ma'am, Secretary Ms. Smita Arya Ma'am, Treasurer Ms. Tanvi Sipolia Ma'am, and Webmaster Ms. Dhruvi Singh. Now, I would like to invite Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sir to share a few words with us. Sir, your guidance has always been instrumental in shaping our journeys. Please come forward and allow us to begin this talk under your esteemed leadership.
Thanks, dear. And I, Sanjeev Kumar, on the behalf of myself and behalf of Electrical Engineering Department and HBTU family, welcome to Shri Anurag. And I'm so happy that he accepted our invitation for over to you, Anurag
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you,
Stage
sir.
is all yours.
Thank you, Sanjeev sir.
And one thing I would like to mention to the comparer that before or anything, you should first of all welcome the guest because Atithi Devo Bhava. That is the first thing you should think. This is the fundamental of engineering that once the senior, always senior. Sir is in fact my senior as well. I did BTech after his graduation. So you should welcome, you should maintain the hierarchy. Here, the senior most person is in fact Anurag sir. So you should welcome always.
Guru is always first, sir.
Is inside or something.
Sir, I think there is issue with your
Over
network.
to you, Anurag sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay. So before I start, is there any expectations from you guys on the call? So I have prepared some generic stuff. So it is not, I will not go very deep technically in any of the topic. If you are interested, we can have a later discussions on that. But right now I want to touch upon more on the broad subject here because a 1 hour webinar and I didn't want to go into the technicality of the subject. Is that okay?
Yes, sir, absolutely okay. Whatever the delta you will give now, that will be a very big thing for us as well as our student.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so we start then. I'll share my screen.
Sure, sir.
Okay. So hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, sir,
Yes,
it's
sir.
visible.
Oh, fine. Okay. So the topic which I gave was more on the technology impact on the business processes. And since I come from a more of a supply chain management and manufacturing industry in the software world, so my focus today would be mostly that how AI is revolutionizing the supply chain management, what is the impact it is having, and how things are changing in supply chain and the manufacturing side. Okay. So we go a little deeper here, and I just put a disclaimer because while I preparing the slides and material for you guys, I also used a lot of help here from the net and from other resources. So I just wanted to put a disclaimer that if any content which is used from the net or from any other resources, I'm not claiming any ownership of those content, and that lies with the owners of those particular contents. Okay. Okay, so how it will look like for today's webinar, we will talk about why now. Okay, so what is that things are changing in terms of supply chain management, in terms of technology, how AI is having impact. So that would be a real little bit of background that what is happening in the world, okay, and why it is so important now compared to in the past, that companies are looking more and more into the technologies to leverage it for their own advantage and optimizing the stuff. Okay, so that would be the first thing. The second thing, we will see that some typical applications within supply chain management and manufacturing, that which all areas we are able to apply those technologies in the benefit of improving the business processes and other stuff. Okay. Please stop me if I'm going too slow or too fast. And if you have any particular questions, we will reserve some time at the end, basically, where you can have some questions and discussions. Okay. Uh, then we will go on to the manufacturing side after covering the supply chain. So manufacturing also becomes part of a supply chain in a broader term, if we are talking about the production also as a pillar in the supply chain. So we'll talk a little bit there itself, that how the technology is emphasizing and impacting that. And then we will see that, okay, what all challenges we are facing. We are having so many things in the world, right? Everywhere you say new terms, new technologies, it's like so much of informations that things are getting lost, right? And we are facing a lot of challenges actually implementing those technologies, getting this into down into the individuals in the organizations, real value coming out of it, what is the risk there, how to mitigate. So that would be the other pillar. And then we will also talk a little bit on the future outlook. Okay, so that would be the journey or the agenda for today. And let me start with the first thing here. So before I deep dive into the current trend and how things are impacting, I would like to also take you through that how this world of supply chain and manufacturing has evolved over the past years. Okay, so little bit in the past. So when we started in the 1960s, 70s time, it was all of these, you say, different LOB areas, line of business areas. They were all a bit fragmented, right? So you have a some department for demand forecasting, the purchasing, the requirements planning, the production planning, inventory management, transportations, the customer service. So these were all very much fragmented areas, and there are specialists who are taking care all these individual things, and not really this is looking as a joint department or joint area to optimize basically. Okay, so that was somewhere into 1960s, 70s kind of time frame. And then what happened into 1980s, there is a little bit of consolidation happening now. Okay, so we say, okay, all these demand forecasting, purchasing, the material requirement planning, this is kind of consolidated in a area called materials management. And then we say, okay, we have the real physical distribution, which is coming into distribution planning, order processing, and all that. And the middle part is really the material handling itself, like very warehousing, packaging, and those kind of stuff. So how you are packaging, like you have these Coca-Cola bottles and those kind of things, you have to manage this special packaging and those kind of things. So broadly we had these three consolidate three big groups consolidating this. And then we moved a little further in the journey, and then came in 1990s, we focusing more on the logistics part basically. Okay, so how this entire chain is getting handled with respect to the transportation management, logistics, and all those things. Okay, how we are kind of making sure that things are reaching on time, how we are managing materials coming on time from the suppliers, and those kind of things came. Okay, but again, it is still more from the LOB perspective, the business focus in that particular thing. So we are not here like open the world with the big globalizations and so many things are impacting there. So that was not the case, and then came in 2000s time of that we started more on the value addition and value proposition in the supply chain management, like looking on the information technology, how it can help in supply chain, the marketing side, the strategic planning. So that was the next phase. So we started moving little bit in that directions, and 2010 to 23 was having high impact with the supply chain digitalization, right? So digital supply chain, those terms came into in this time frame. Digital supply chain, digital manufacturing, and those kind of terminologies came into this part of the era. And that is where also this cloud computing, RFIDs, IoTs, all the SaaS models, software as a service models, B2B commerce, right? You are directly dealing with your suppliers, vendor via this digitalization world. They're all interconnected. So these things came into picture in 2010 to 2023. And now we are in the world of AI. So AI is not new with respect to the education and institutional perspective. This is a pretty like 50, 60 years at least old when we talked about neural networks or those kind of things. But now this is really coming into life. And we are having all these agentic AIs with AI agents and these kind of stuff. Now the game is changing, and this is the new era or evolution with respect to AI in 2024 onwards. And the focusing is more on the real-time orchestration of the supply chain management, how we integrate the AI chatbots into your core processes, which can help. You can ask anything, right? The real-time situations. We will look a little detailed on those cases, that how we are using these kind of things here. Digital twins, basically. So digital twin, if you have not heard, this is kind of you are digitally representing a physical entity. Okay, like you have a big machine, right, which you want to represent uh, digitally, so that you can do certain simulations and all those kind of things to better prepare for your preventive actions or correct other kind of measures there. So that is a little bit on the journey side. Okay, now moving to the next slide of it. Okay, so why now? Okay, so why we are putting so much emphasis now? I'll deep dive a little bit on the AI front itself. So far I talked the journey of supply chain. What is happening now? So if you see that there are two major forces. Okay, before you say what are the trends, market trends, which is impacting on these kind of a new way of looking at the supply chain and manufacturing side. So you now we are looking into the globalized market, right? So if you have a global market coming into picture, it's not only like we have a in India, you might have customers somewhere, manufacturing somewhere, vendors somewhere. So it's all global things which is involved here, multiple locations, multiple kind of environment here. So that is kind of impacting, and it requires a kind of a real unprecedented agility, right? You have to react very fast. You cannot have enough time, otherwise you are going to lose opportunity in the market, and you are ultimately going to have loss for your business, right? Then we are coming on to second dimensions here, which is customer expectations, which is rising exponentially, right? Everybody is having high expectations now. So it's not like that, okay, if I order like in the age of Zepto and Blinkit and all that, your expectations are changing completely. You are also asking very faster time to market, and also if you go to manufacturing side, the customers are also looking. Sorry for that. Also looking for a like a very specialized product, or that should be built for me, right? Lot size, one kind of a concept. So this is another factor. Okay, then we also have all these disruptions. It could be from geopolitical side, like suddenly somebody is having wars here, pandemic coming, or you have any other major technical disruptions or any other way of doing things. So you keep on seeing lot of unprecedented disruption at this particular time of the era. Now, what is happening here? So you say, as I told, some examples of supply chain management that is kind of growing now. So you have Amazon, Flipkarts, and those kind of things, Walmart and all. And then came all this last minute delivery apps, Zepto, Blinkit, and all that. And these players also jumped into that game, right? So the supply chain management is also kind of evolving, coming with a great force that how things are done here. Okay, like managing such a big inventory in Amazon and all those areas, ensuring that all the, take an example of Myntra, right? Order is coming and you say return next day, guys, picks, your money comes in, right? So how to take care of all these things, right? So this is also going a very fast manner, this area. At the same time, AI is also evolving in a pretty fast manner, right? So you remember like a couple of years back, you have this chat GPT based on certain model, and it was already like everybody is trying to do chat gpt and it is giving some correct answer, somewhere it is hallucinating. And then it came like you have new model from Meta came, then Gemini came, now Gemini 2.5, and so many new models are coming into picture, and it is growing very fast now. For normal you say traditional AI, then you came generative AI, now you say agentic AI, then quantum AI. So this area is also growing pretty much faster. So that is the reason that why now. So both area growing faster, and they are the supply chain is looking like can we leverage the advantage of these AI technologies for making more resilient supply chain, optimized business processes. That is what is happening as of now. Okay, so that is the idea behind the converging forces. One example I put on the right side. So I have not put the figure here how many percent is. So Boeing kind of putting implemented the AI-driven supply chain visibility. So they used AI to really see that what is happening in my entire supply chain, right? Starting from getting the products, is coming maybe to the OEMs like original equipment manufacturers, OEM like Boeing, and then it is going out. What is happening? Where is my parts and supply is shifting? What decisions I can make if it is delayed? What action I can do? So make sure that parts are available basically in optimal manner when they are doing the manufacturing. Okay, so that they have implemented based on the AI. You can get more details from this particular article. Okay, moving to the next. So far we covered the journey of supply chain management, that how we are evolving, why supply chain and AI kind of joining forces now. That is what we have seen. Now we do a little bit more deep dive into the AI. So AI is a broader term, right? So you have multiple terms in the AI. We say generative AI, machine learning, and you say all data science, data analytics. So there are multiple terms in particular big. You say um, NLP is there, and you say uh, guided learning, or multiple things are there. I don't want to name that all of those terminologies here, but little bit we will touch upon on the broader perspective, which kind of patterns are being used in the supply chain and the manufacturing side. Okay, so one of the pillar here is that, and before we talk about all these pillars, most of them actually are working on the bigger data, at least on the left side of the things. Okay, and we are getting lot of data in this context of supply chain, a hell lot of data which is coming into the supply chain management into picture. Okay, and how to leverage that data. Okay, and how to leverage that data, that is where we can utilize some of these technologies or pillars here. And one of them is machine learning. So machine learning is, as the name suggests, it's like machine is learning from the past history, past experience. So this is like I have a lot of data. I want to learn based on past data. Like there is a lot of example would be like you have a lot of past demand coming for the past, some seasonal data like in summer season you will have more demand for this particular product and these kind of things, and then you are accordingly predicting for the future, for the future. So you're learning from historical data, and this is helping you to make the decisions and forecasting certain things. That is one dimension of it. Then comes to the natural language processing. This is more of a human language for automation. It's like more, if you say typical examples like chatbots and all. Earlier, you remember, especially in the banking and all those sectors, even other sector also, you call on toll free, somebody else is there talking to you and solving your queries. But now you see more and more they're putting a chatbot here and you're interacting with that. They will try to resolve your query with the chatbot itself and saving a lot of human capacity involved in this. Okay, so that is the example of natural language processing here. Generative AI is more different little bit on the machine learning side, because the machine learning is kind of helping you to make the decisions and decide on certain future course of actions. Generative AI is basically creating the content itself, right, from the past trained data. Like I have trained my generative AI model with human images, dog images, situation images, house images, and all that. So this is preserving that kind of knowledge. And I can ask now, okay, like dog sitting inside the home. So it will generate a new data for me, new image, new material, and all that. So that is the difference for the generative AI. Okay, so this we can use for multiple, like low hanging fruit. I can generate the documentation for my product software, right? This is no, I have to not deploy a particular employee who is asking me how to do documentation, and all that very easily can be done by generative AI. And then comes the robotic process automation. This is basically the multiple repetitive tasks which I can automate by these robotic process automations and free up the human capacity for doing more kind of a work where you require a more analytical and logical skills there. So that is where we are in the respect to the AI. The key major things I actually touched upon here. And now we will deep dive upon a little bit. I talk, so I have not put too much text on the slide, and because I wanted to talk, otherwise it becomes too boring slides and too cluttered. So we'll talk a little bit, okay, what is happening in the world of supply chain and all that. So we have few things which we want to touch upon. Okay, so few use cases we say, okay, demand planning, for example. Okay, so how the AI could be used here. So demand is keep on changing, right? So it's a customer behavior is changing, the seasonal things are changing, the market is changing, sudden external forces which are impacting the demand now. So in the earlier days, if you say, okay, I know the demand because last year some planner is there. He's saying, okay, last year in the May month, the orders came around for 400 XYZ products. So this year I will keep maybe 400 plus 10% more, depending on certain situation. But that will not help, because that may end up in having more and more dead stock, because you really not analyzed and you are not sure that how much demand is going to come. It could be less, it could be more, or it could be different, right? Not for this product that much. So your products X and products Y, but product Y may have suddenly increase in the demand, and X, which was doing pretty good, now maybe have a reducing demand, maybe impacted by multiple factors, as I told, seasons, external factors, geopolitical situations. So how AI helps here? AI will be intelligently collecting all this data. As I told, the data is coming from multiple sources, right? Logistics, suppliers, and other environmental stuff. It will try to take that into account, process that data pretty fast, and tell you based on that, this is how my demand forecast look like for next 3 months or 6 months. And it will also provide a confidence interval, like I am 80% confident this is how it will happen, or I am 90% confident how this will happen. Based on that, you can really take charge. You do better planning, right? How to utilize your resources, your production resources, how much things you have to store as a raw material and all that, right? You have to do material planning as self, right? If you're procuring so much in advance, where to store, so many things will come into picture. and that will lead to the next use case, like inventory optimization. So once we are done here, it will also help in the inventory optimizations, right? If you are not really inventory optimizing the inventory, so what happens, like in the paster days when you don't have a that much of information, right? What happens, I procure everything in advance from my suppliers, I rely on them, then I'm storing all the raw materials, the parts in my warehouse, and I'm putting that on the assembly line whenever the production is happening. But that is require a lot of cost. Your business is not optimized, right? Your profit is not optimized, right? So suddenly you are storing so much of material, you require a big storage locations, warehouses and all that to maintain that. Second risk is that suddenly you procured a part, okay, that is maybe 500k amount of numbers of the some part, right? Suddenly there is a regulatory change comes, right? You cannot use this part because of sustainability reason, it is not compliant to the market, you have to stop this, there is a new regulation, so your stock is going for a toss, you will occur a lot of loss. So with AI and all, this will kind of help you to optimize your inventory and really plan in a manner where you are getting the part as and when needed. So you're not investing that much money, you are not investing in the storage location, in the also in the advanced money which you have to buy the parts and all that. And the risk is also less. If tomorrow world is changing, I will be not at the risk, like I have so much of amount already in my locations. So that would be the another applications, that how AI and these technologies will help making a real time looking into the data and deciding on that, rather than we are kind of fixing too much of safety buffer and those kind of things in advance. Okay. And the third comes is the enhanced visibility, right? So what is happening in my supply chain? Okay, so I planned everything now, I'm going for the production maybe in next month. Okay, I have 4 weeks of time, I have ordered all my raw materials, the parts and everything which I need from my suppliers. Everything is done, it's on track. Okay, suddenly I see that I asked some suppliers to deliver some part yesterday and it is not yet reached, then my production is at risk. If production at risk, I may lose my own customers because I will not be able to deliver that same product on the time, and then I will get a bad name, right? So what happens with this AI and the business network, if you have heard those names, it will help, this technology will help looking at a real time access to that situation, right? What is happening, what happened to the supplier, why is not delivering? Okay, do I have any alternative supplier who can actually give me the same part, or do I have some other plant or locations from where I can move this part? Maybe it is there already lying for some other order, but maybe that order is not that critical, I can push that particular production order for one more week or month, so I can move that. So that enhanced visibility and take a more proactive corrective actions to mitigate the risk and doing the business as usual, that is another area of application with enhanced visibility of in the supply chain perspective. And then comes the dynamic pricing as another example where AI is kind of impacting the supply chain side or real the production side. So you see the pricing at the past, you can say that it is constant, I'm always selling my product for maybe $100, $200 and whatever, right? But things are pretty much changing, the world has become so competitive, and these conditions, as I told, keep on changing, right? So you have to take a call here that you are not losing the market, right? So the pricing has to be dynamic. Suddenly you see a competitor coming into picture, and now you are selling for 200, they say okay, I will sell at 180. And now what action you have to take? Maybe you can still say that I retain at 200 because I'm sure my quality is damn good compared to that particular competitor. But you have to really take a call, and you should have access to all the data, that how to adjust my dynamic pricing based on these market conditions. Competitor is one example, or it is some other situation happening in the world, or anything else is happening, I should be able to adjust so that my business is not going for a loss making. At the same time, I'm not losing the market as well. Okay, so these are the some examples, use cases which I try to touch upon. And then comes a little bit on, I would say, further, which is on the boundary, I say, on the production and the supply chain itself. So the supplier management here. Okay, so as I told that when we are doing a production, if we are not doing a production, we are outsourcing the production and getting the finished product from supplier and just doing a more of a putting our brand and selling it. In the all the cases, you have to really very uh, vigilant about your supplier side, right? That they are delivering the right product. Is there any potential issues? What is the performance like? What is the lead time like when we order? How much fast they are delivering? What is their particular uh, uh, price? Is this competitive? How many other suppliers I have? So all those things we keeping in mind, we can do a little bit of performance analysis based on the data we collected. Manually it will be very tedious task and we cannot process such a huge data, right? Amazon's receiving orders in millions, right? Just an example. Similarly, there are countries or the companies who will have millions, thousands of data. You cannot do this in Excel and do processing, right? So the AI tools can really help in the supplier management, finding out the potential issues, flagging them, and see what actions we can take to filter out those suppliers, really move on to some other suppliers and those kinds of things. So that could be one potential area. And then comes the fraud detections. Okay, fraud detection, you would have heard a broader use cases where we are using AI models into the banking sector, right? So there's a lot of frauds happening in the banking side, and they really use, like, typical example, if I say, so that you can correlate, while giving a loan, right? You say, sorry for that. So while giving a loan, bank will really try to understand the data behind it, and they'll say, okay, whether I should give a loan to this particular person, or it looks like it will never be a returning, it kind of a defaulter, and then it is come into fraud category, then fraudulent transactions happening online. In the supplier context also, what kind of fraud could happen in the supply chain and the production side? You may get some fake invoices, right? So you have suppliers there into game, and they are supplying certain things, right? So they supplied whatever 50, 100 and all those things. You might be receiving some fake invoices from some dealers, some suppliers, vendors, and all that. So it is very good to have these AI tools who help you to see this suspicious transaction. What happened? Okay, same day I got two invoices. It looks similar. Something is fishy here. Maybe the amount or the parts came, but why he's putting like so much of invoice same day? So these kind of data, if you miss, also the technology can help you for the fraud detection in this kind of a world, or this area of applications. Predictive maintenance is another area which is more on the asset side. Okay, now we also take care, right? If you go for any home equipment, just to correlate, right? So you say your water filter, purifier, washing machines, fridge, and all, right? They say please take AMC, right? Annual maintenance contract, so we can do a servicing and all those things. On the similar lines, when you are going to, you do have AMCs and all that also, but that is going to be a cost for the company, right? So when you are going to a bigger assets, like, so nowadays you see that companies are also going for a model that you say equipment or asset as a subscription, right? So I have air compressors. There are companies who are manufacturing, or they have their own uh, partners who are kind to maintain these air compressors and all that. So they will going to install that air compressor or at your site, and they will also take care of maintenance of all those things. You have to just pay the rent as and when you are using that particular machine, right? So in that model, this predictive maintenance becomes very important. Even otherwise also, when you are also owning the asset, this becomes very important. How technology helps here, right? So you have a big asset, right? Big machines, which is take air compressor, or you take any other big machines like big lathes or whatever bigger machines, which is like a pretty costly machines. And if they go for a damage, repairing them will be a very high cost affair, right? So how this technology helps? So they just an example, if you take, so we put some sensors here, right? Typically, we can also do analysis of that how much machine is heated, how much vibrations they are having. So all that data will be getting feeded by the sensors or edge devices if they are remote locations to this world of processing the data from AI and all that. So this AI will try to put from past history, put some algorithms and say, okay, now you are having this much threshold, this got heated last month up to more than this threshold, or it was having too much of vibrations. Okay, if you do not kind of see and stop the root cause of these vibrations, it may cause damage in your whatever engines and other stuff, and that will be kind of a huge cost to the company. So these kind of technologies you can use in this predictive maintenance area as well. We are this is also already happening in the pockets, I would say. Okay, now coming to few examples, as I told, I focus on supply chain management and manufacturing. So far we have seen the supply chain journey, what is the AI and supply chain, how they are joining forces together, some key areas of AI, and then we jumped into that what all the applications of AI into the supply chain side. Okay, now we jump into manufacturing side. Okay, some of the areas where we can utilize AI, they are not kind of, I would say, holistic. I just try to take certain examples here. Okay, so you say quality control. Okay, one of the things which you see in AI, all this deep learning and all, is a computer vision area, right? For the defect analysis, image recognition, right? You have this computer vision application in your laptops, right? For unlocking your laptop, unlocking your iPhones, phones, and all that by recognizing the face. This technology is also used in the manufacturing area for the defect detections. Okay, very minute defect detections which may cause damage to the machine in future and cost really high. Okay, so that is one example in this particular area. Then comes to the generative designs, right? So this really helps to generate multiple designs alternatives. So when you are putting a product in place, you are designing that, right? You want to design one particular part, so AI can really help to suggest multiple alternatives, designs. Okay, this could also be good, that could also be good, and you decide based on the cost, carbon, and other material things, which one to choose here. So that is another part or application which we can see in the manufacturing area. Then comes to the production optimization, right? Okay, there is a double put here. So production optimization is how AI can help. As you see that you when you are producing one particular product, you will have multiple assembly line work centers like machines on which you are processing your material when it has become a finished good, right? So how you can really utilize, right, that none of these work centers are becoming bottlenecks. For example, for one particular week, maybe I have lot many things to produce, and then but I don't have a capacity, and next week it will be really free, so I can really see my entire data and optimize my production. Okay, how I can rearrange and remove the bottleneck, like push back and forth these orders in the different weeks. Can I utilize which kind of a workforce in which work center so that I get the maximum output out of that particular machines? So those kind of things could be analyzed by AI and really put into practice into the production optimization itself to maximize the profit and the utilization of the factory and your plant. Then fourth is example of actually augmented reality here. So that is a workforce augmentation, part of augmentation, or you say virtual reality area here. So this is also coming into picture how it is impacting in the manufacturing. You would have seen some in the mall wearing this VR glass and going through some mountain hiking and all that, but that's more of a gaming side. How it helps here, right? You have a worker who is working on a particular machine. He has to kind of process that machine like a metal sheet, cut it, fold it, weld it, and whatever he has to do for the next particular machine. But how to do that? The one way is that I give a hand printout. These are the instructions. This is how you have to cut the seat. This is how you have to do welding, and this is how it goes to the next machine, right? But what is happen is that if visually that particular worker can see the instructions, how to do that, where to cut the hole, how where to put the screws, how to fix it, it will be very easy and effective for the end user, as well as it will bring a good quality into the product. So that is one use case for the augmented reality into the manufacturing world. Okay, this is little bit text, but don't read it. I'll just give you a gist of it. Okay, so far we have seen the journey of supply chain. We have also seen that how SCM, supply chain manufacturing, joining forces with AI. Then we see AI, different areas of AI. Then we see how AI is having use cases for manufacturing and the supply chain management. And then there are certain benefits. If we say, based on the past details, key 10 pointers, if you say, what is the benefit we are getting from the AI coming into picture. So you have more uh, efficiency increased here. The production, as I say, optimization, productivity is going to increase here. You can free up human resources for doing much more critical and analytical tasks. The equipment reliability will be better because you are doing predictive maintenance, not the corrective maintenance. You make a better smart decisions on the real time insight. The accuracy will be high because your decision is not based on just like uh, based on your past experience, but on the real data, basically what is happening here as of today. The facilities and the workforce also getting efficient here with the digital twin and those kind of technology coming into picture. Supplier management, we see that how we can do the analysis of supplier data and other stuff. We are mitigating the risk. As I told, that if anything is going wrong, we are already prepared. AI is already warning me that this is going to happen. Please take these kind of decisions. These are the options for you. We can scale also, right, with all these cloud solutions and the increased data which is coming. Manual, it is very difficult, excels and the in-house things, so we can have much more power with the scalability of these technologies coming into picture. Sustainability compliance, right? As I told some example, like this part having more high carbon footprint, and there is a government regulation you cannot use. So analyzing those data when we are producing, how much is the carbon, there's everything on track, what actions I can take, can I combine two different orders so that I optimize my logistical cost and those kind of things. That is what you can do. Very key pointers here. This is future outlook. This is typically say what will happen in future by 2030. The AI impact in terms of the market size will be touching around $15 trillion. 45% decisions will be based on automations, like it could be automated. Like order processing, I told an example in Amazon and all, multiple is kind of pretty much automated process. Emission reductions on the sustainability side, how you can reduce this by optimizing your supply chain. Obviously you're going to reduce the carbon footprint. Okay, so that is, and the other part which I say, this will definitely help into the resilience as well of the supply chain. Like when pandemic is happening, your supply chain is getting broken, right? The supplier, same supplier whom you're relying is not able to do supply to you, but you have all this resilient system in place, all connected suppliers, all the data, the great visibility. Your businesses will be much more resilient to the situation which is coming nowadays very often, the wars, the pandemics, and so many things. But we do have some challenges. So far it was all good. AI will be great and you can implement, it will really help. But there are certain challenges. Even though you have a data in plenty, right? But it may not be the accurate data, right? So data could be also a junk data, and it takes a lot of effort to clean the data and make it usable for your AI and data analysis and all that. That is one of the challenge here. How to integrate, right? You still have lot many uh, disconnected, just sorry for that. So you have lot many disconnected systems and all that, and bringing that, integrating which are on different technologies, it becomes a barrier. It's not that easy, right? Out of the box I can integrate so many systems. And there is also a skill gaps, so you don't have that many skilled people, in the AI and the new technology in the organizations. And then comes the regulatory concerns, right? Ethics, privacy, security issues when you are having really all this cloud coming into picture. Now I can ask so many things which can generate, but I am not really sure about the privacy and ethics. So that is the reason you might be hearing something like ethical AI, because for personal use is a different thing, but if corporate has to use all these technologies, they have to be ethical, right? They cannot claim on somebody's else IP, and they have to be really compliant to the government regulations. And last comes, which is a universal thing for any change, that is the resistance to the change management, right? So whenever there is new things coming, there will be resistance from your own internal workforce, from the technology side and all that. That also another challenge which comes into picture. Okay, what is the future outlook and next step? So what is the future trends coming here? Okay, in this world. Okay, so hyper personalized supply chain, as I told, that people are moving more into that, can I have my own product such and such time, I need here in this location, that time, these kind of requirement, because market dynamics are changing. Autonomous operations, right? So all your operations which is could be automated, I would like to automate. That could be a future thing. Digital twins for simulations, like I have a machine there, I cannot go there and really see what will be the impact. And we have a pretty good use cases there. For example, you have a bridge, you do a digital twin. For that you do a simulation that, okay, if train load this much passing through that, what will be the impact? You cannot test it with a real train, and if it falls, so many people going to die, or if there is nobody, the train itself will damage. So for those things you do this digital twins for simulations and all that. Enhanced human and AI collaboration, so it's not a replacement, but it's like how you can use AI for more optimizing the work. And this is the preparation where corporates can invest, audit the process, how you are actually having current business processes. The data is ready, do you have really that much data access? Build a roadmap on the AI, how you want to implement the technologies, and invest in the people with respect to training and all that thing. Okay, with that, I kept 10 minutes for any questions, answers, any discussions, because I didn't want to have a like one side communication. I didn't ask in between because that may be breaking the flow. That was the only reason.
So now I request everyone to raise their hands and ask their doubts one by one.
Harsh has raised the hand.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर। हाँ सर।
Good afternoon.
इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग सर। जैसे कि सर आपने बताया सर, जनरेटिव एआई सर एल्गोरिथम यूज़ करती है सर डिफरेंट डिफरेंट सर फॉर ऑब्जेक्ट डिटेक्शन के लिए। सर वैसे जैसे ओपन सीवी होती है और जनरेटिव एआई होती है, तो सर मतलब ओपन सीवी में सर ऐसा कौन सा एल्गोरिथम यूज़ होता है कि सर जो जनरेटिव एआई को सर डिफर करता है एज कम्पेयर टू ओपन सीवी?
So you have two different things. What I told. Okay, generative AI is not used for, you say, defect detections and all that. Okay, that is a deep learning. One of the things there is computer vision, which is used for defect detections. Okay, generative AI models are based on the transformer architectures. Okay, so that is a little bit more detailed technical. I can not finish that into that. So there are two different worlds. One is, right, you are typically creating your own model using for the with the past data, and then you are using this for the decision making. Okay, generative AI is your it's like a collective intelligence. It has learned from so many things, and now you want to use that collective intelligence combined with your own local data. The challenge would be, right, okay, for the corporate world, I will not share my data, my IP with ChatGPT, right? If I share my data with ChatGPT, my IP is lost, right? Okay, so there are different mechanism how you utilize the intelligence and collective knowledge of this generative AI with my own data. That is, you utilize multiple things, right? The vector DB, you retrain maybe partially that model, or you do RAG and these kind of things. So there are different things which happens there.
Thank you so much, sir.
And
Yes, sir. Sir, I actually want to ask the architecture behind GPT.
that is a bigger topic, Ansh. Okay, so all these GPT I told, this is a, you say, one of the branch of ML is deep learning. Okay, which kind of started in 2007 8. So Google used to have built these models on the lay scale, and it evolved multiple years, right? And these GPTs and all those things, they are based, all these LLMs, right, large language model, they are based on something called as a transformer architecture of deep learning. So if you search on the net, you will get some idea about that, but that is a separate deep topic actually.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
सर जैसे कि सर जनरेटिव एआई में सर फॉल्स डेटा आ जाता है, तो सर उसको सर वो लोग हटाने के लिए सर मतलब जनरेटिव एआई में ऐसे कौन से मॉडल्स यूज होते हैं सर जो मतलब डेटा मैनिपुलेट ना कर पाए?
As I told her, so generative AI is hallucinating also, because it is based on certain things, right? And it may give you very wrong answers also at times, right? And it is keep on learning. So take an example like how you have taken this Ghibli, whatever. Okay, why they opened, right? And Chat GPT also, they opened 2 years, 2.5 years back, free, right? The main purpose of these companies are to use. So you and me, they are becoming their a free trainer. If they hire so many humans to actually train the model, it is very, very high cost. Okay, I know that my model is not perfect, but I will launch this in the market, so I will have competitive advantage a little bit, and then I will use this mass crowd trainers to train the model. So that is how it is learning. There are multiple ways. This is one of the way that you are retraining thing. Okay, and there is also something called as a fine tuning. Okay, little bit delta. So there are multiple layers in the deep uh, ML, right? So you have multiple things. You are passing your data one by one, one by one. So you say I removed 2 layers from that particular deep learning model, and I retrain that 2 layers and build a new one. Okay, which is less cost, because if you have to completely rebuild and retrain the model, you need a very, very high cost GPUs and all that. So that is not possible. That is the reason not everybody is investing and building their own GPUs, right? And that is the reason you also getting a concept of SLM. Okay, that is a small language models that is only focusing on a specialized area. So I'll give data only for my area and see how this particular model is trained and helping me.
थैंक यू सो मच सर.
We don't need the
Sir, I want to ask that how these models learn by when we put submit any value, they learn by putting our values or by some other methods are used.
And it is a very vast topic. As I told, there are multiple things you can do. Okay, so there is a retrieval augmented generation, then you have this fine tuning, then you say I will do partial fine tuning or partial training. I will completely retrain the data. For example, if I train a model on an image of a dog, right? Now it has no idea about the cat image. If you ask that the model generate me an image of a cat, it will generate image of dog only. So what you do, you take that same model and you say, I want to fine tune this, because he knows the image generation things already, that knowledge he has. But I will pass him some delta images of cat. Now he will be able to, that model will be able to learn about the cat. And now it will be able to generate cat and dog both. Okay. So there are, as I told, multiple techniques there. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Uh, Sir, I want to ask a question.
Mhm.
Sir, what is the relation between a neural network and a artificial intelligence system? So, is the base of artificial intelligence is neural networks?
Artificial intelligence is a broader term, Yugal. So all this deep learning, neural network, all this whatever you are seeing here, RPA, this will all come under the umbrella of artificial intelligence. Okay, it's a broader term,
Okay,
and
sir.
then within that you have a multiple specialized area.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, which skills are important for generative AI, sir, that we learn from during college days and we keep learning?
So generative AI, you little bit understand the architecture because you can use, right? So and understand is a good question here. So what you can understand, right? When the technology is evolving and it is also changing very fast. Okay, so you can focus little bit on the details of that technologies, how it is built, what is happening, keep yourself up to date. But the most important thing is that how you are utilizing that particular technologies into the business side. All these data analysts, data scientists, and all that, they can do the data cleaning a little bit all that. But what is the very crucial knowledge is a domain knowledge. If I am not a domain expert of, for example, hospitals, okay, so then I cannot do any justice. Okay, that is very, I say, advanced skill. So not as a student, I would say focus little bit on technical, that is fine. But when you move to the corporate world, don't undermine the domain knowledge. Okay, so always give importance, because nowadays, like, I want to be a super techie in Java, IoT, blockchain, and everything, and I don't care, I really do not know ABCD of manufacturing and supply chain. Then you cannot actually do justice to your coding, because you do not know what are you working for, right?
Thank you so much, sir.
Any questions? Please raise your hands if you have any doubt. I request Mr. Udit Gupta sir to kindly share us feedback form for the session.
So I think there is no question, no further query. I am so thankful, Anurag Jain sir. Now I would like to introduce Anurag Jain sir, because students should understand that what they have lost if they are not carefully listening him. So it is very difficult to read out the entire biodata of Shri Anurag Jain Saab, but I would like to highlight few points. Anurag Jain sir is a highly accomplished professional with over 23 years of experience in software product development. He is currently serving as a head of engineering for S4 HANA Public Cloud PLM at SAP, where he leads a high performing team committed to building and scaling cutting edge solutions. He graduated from HBTI Kanpur and did his postgraduate from ISC Bangalore. Mr. Anurag sir has played numerous strategic roles throughout his career, all of which showcase his deep technical acumen and leadership. And dear student, you might notice which sir has told us in the last session or last few minutes of his expert talk, that you must, rather than should, you must have
the core knowledge before going towards the software side, because in software everyone can enter, but in particular domain, particular code, you can implement lot of things using today's technology like AI, deep learning, machine learning, all those things can be used. But the prime requirement is you must have your domain knowledge. For example, most of the students, most of the participants, I can notice that they are from the electrical engineering background. So you must understand what exactly machine is, what exactly power electronics is, what exactly drive is. If you wish to go in the software industry, even if you should know, because when you do coding and all those things related to your domain area, definitely you will do the excellence because you know the real things, and accordingly you can develop your code. Without knowing the real thing, you can't develop the code. So this is from my side, and I am once again very very thankful to Anurag Jain Saab, and I hope in future we will again connect and get the knowledge of your wisdom and experience for me as well as all of my students. And in case, sir, if you visited Kanpur, I invite you to visit your alma mater at BTU Kanpur, and especially the electrical engineering department. So we will happy to have you. So
Thank you, sir.
for this certificate, although you doesn't require any certification, but just token of our appreciation and love, and we have generated this certificate, and you will get it on your mail.
Thank
So
you, sir.
for group photograph, I request to all participants, please turn on your video so that we would have a group photograph. All of you. And I also suggest to take the screenshot as well, and it is advised to all the participants just turn on his or her video. Ansh,
Yes, sir. So now I extend my heartful gratitude to everyone for making today's session a great success. A special thanks to our esteemed senior, Mr. Anurag Jain sir, for sharing his expertise and guiding us toward a better future. We also express our sincere gratitude to Professor Sanjeev Kumar sir for his continuous guidance and support. With this, we conclude today's session, but we promise to bring you more such valuable events in the near future. Thank you for all being the part of this wonderful interaction.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Set up mute him.
Sir.
My voice is coming or not?
Yes,
अनुशेष
sir.
मेरी
Sir, you are visible, audible. सर
सेशन लाइव है जसमीत की नहीं है? अगर लाइव है तो इसको टर्न ऑफ कर दो।